But the idea of control comes from me feeling like I was out of control in this relationship. I had no control over myself, and I had no control over him, but I thought that I could change him, and uh, I was wrong. This is Shayla Reneé, and I'm coming to you with another episode of Take Back Your Life. And for this session, I want to focus on the idea of control. So, what we can control are our thoughts and our feelings, and how we react or respond to others, or how we relate to others. Um, Everything else in this life is out of our control. And that could be a hard pill to swallow, especially coming from someone like me. I will say, I'll throw myself out there and let you know where the idea that I can control other people stems from. And I'll have to take it way back to my childhood. Um, um, I was I was a little bit spoiled. I was a little spoiled when I was younger, and I learned at a very early age that if I cried or pouted about something that I wanted, I could change the minds of my authority figures. I could get what I wanted if I responded in a certain way. So if I wanted a pair of sneakers and my mom said no at first, I know that if I cried enough, she would eventually purchase the sneakers for me. And unfortunately, I learned as I got older that the world does not work that way. I had to learn the hard way particularly in a really bad relationship. But now that I am a parent, I am a mom. I try to teach these things to my son. So that's something that we're trying to teach our son. A quick story. I think it was last weekend. He My son came to me and he said he's going to pray that um, some of the students in his class will have a better week next week. And I tried to explain to him that the only person he can control in his class is himself. So he can present himself in a way that is a positive influence on other people, but not to be upset if he's not able to control how they act in class. Like, you control yourself, and that's what you want to focus on, and not on anyone else. So hopefully he gets this as he grows, and gets it at a very early age, and isn't hit smacked upside his head with it when he's older, like I was. And that's the only thing we can hope as parents, that we are teaching our kids the right things, and eventually it will sink in. But I do want to focus on since I am talking about control, and part of my life, a time in my life where I felt a little out of control was in in the relationship that I wrote my book about. And the book is titled "He Almost Stole My Life," and it's titled that way for a reason, because I almost lost myself in this relationship. And I am focusing on some of the stuff that I wrote in the book, because I did revise the book, and it will be coming out in October, the Take Back Your Life edition. And one portion of the book talks about me trying to manipulate our situation, or manipulate uh, my ex uh, by my own behavior, and me trying to do little things to dictate how he responded to me, and to try to make the relationship a little better. Some of the things I learned while in the relationship, in hopes that I can, deter anyone from entering into a relationship by seeing certain signs in another person, or encourage those who may be in a relationship that is abusive to get out of that relationship. And I understand that it's easier said than done, but that is my hope. But the idea of control comes from me feeling like I was out of control in this relationship. I had no control over myself, and I had no control over him, but I thought that I could change him. And uh, I was wrong. And I learned the hard way that I didn't have the ability to change him. I know that only God has that ability. God is the only person that can change hearts. And I know that in that relationship, the person that I was with, like, he had some heart issues, and that needed to be worked from the inside out. There was nothing I can do, no way I could respond, no way that I could react to him that would change the way he treated me. And it took me years to understand that. I will say that when I finally decided that it was time for me to take back my own life, I knew that I had to make some changes within myself. And I made these changes within myself for myself. The changes were not for the relationship. The changes were for me to become a better person, and a more stable person, for me to understand who I was, to try to figure out my identity outside of being this person's girlfriend, um, understanding where I lacked. My self-esteem was, super low, and I didn't know who I was, and I had to go find myself again. And part of me finding myself was rededicating my life to Christ. And it wasn't an easy task. It was a lot of back and forth in the beginning, but I understood that God was trying to pull on my heartstrings, and I understood that I was a new creation in Christ, and I set some standards on my life that the relationship just did not hit. And I got to the point in the relationship that it was either I was either going to die in this relationship, or I was going to come out of the relationship and become a better person, because I was drowning, and I lost control of my own self. I let someone else control me, and I needed to take back that control. I needed to take back me, and I had to do it outside of the relationship. And one of the scriptures that I relied heavily on is 2 Corinthians 5:17-18. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away; behold, the new has come. And verse 17 really hit me deep. And it says that all this is from God, who through Christ reconciled us to himself and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. And it hit me at a deep place, because I realized, while going through this change of mindset, that instead of trying to compromise and reconcile the relationship that I was in with this person, I needed to be reconciled back to God and focus on me in my relationship with God, and not my relationship with this person, in order to breathe again. Like I was suffocating in this relationship. I was hurting because I was trying to, in my own strength, change someone who, one, did not want to change, didn't believe that he was doing anything wrong, and two, the relationship wasn't edifying to Christ. So I realized that during this relationship, that, one, I was never going to change this person. He was not going to change because of me. I understood after a few years that the only variable that I could change in the relationship was me. and not change to try to conform to this type of person that he wanted me to be, because I would never live up to that. I could never live up to whatever standard that he had set, uh, to be this type of person that he would never have to hit. I never thought that, in the beginning, I never thought that he would ever physically abuse me. And then, okay, once it happened, I thought that it would never happen again. And then once it recurred, I began to try to think of ways that I could change to stop the abuse. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, no matter how I responded, there was still some reason in his mind that he could verbally or physically or emotionally abuse me. And that type of person with that type of mindset, the change is going to have to come from within. God's going to have to do something with his heart. And it's out of my control. It's nothing that I can do. And I learned that people rarely change for other people. They may temporarily change some things to please another person, but the end results are usually revert back to who they are, because unless you want to actually change for yourself, it's not going to be a permanent stick. And unless it's some stuff that God works some stuff within you, works out some stuff within you, it's not going to be a permanent fix. It's going to be something temporary that they put up that is like this, this knight in shining armor type thing. But the truth is that you got to want to be a better person for yourself. And that goes for anyone. It goes for the abuser and the abused. I did not change my mindset until I wanted to be a better person for me, not for that relationship. There were some changes that I had to make. And those changes started with me devoting my life to God. And eventually, the relationship died because I couldn't share time with him, that person I was with, and God. It was complete polar opposites. I tried it for a while. I tried to focus and depend on and devote my life to God in the relationship, and neither party liked it. God didn't like it, and he didn't like it. And I had to decide, I had to make a choice of, what was more important, or who was more important. Was he more important, or was God more important? And at the end of the day, God was more important, because I had life with God and it was death in the relationship. After years, I decided that it was time for me to take back my life. And it began for me releasing the control that I thought I had over that person that I was with, and regaining control over my life. And that's what I have for you today. I hope that this helps someone. I hope that you get a clearer view of what you can control, which is yourself, your reaction, your responses, how you relate to others. And that's basically what we can control. Everything else is out of our control. I have control over me, and you have control over you. And the more we focus on that and understand that, I think the more free we become. So that's that for today. I hope you have an awesome one.